Hello and welcome to Electro Squale University, where electricity is our main call and squirrels are our second. This episode is sponsored by British TV and stuff. They are good friends and they enjoy calling us just as much as we do. In fact, we have some corn nuts right here. I'm just gonna grab myself some. Okay, today we have a special guest, Professor Slick.
Yes, that is my last name, and my first name is actually Nick. So I'm Nick Slick.
Nick Slick. That doesn't sound right.
I know.
It doesn't roll off your tongue.
It does not.
Like, seriously. Nick Slick. That isn't.
No, I know.
It doesn't make sense.
I know, but that's my name.
Well,
that's what my mom gave me.
You should punch your parents in the face.
Nah.
Anyways,
thanks too much.
Today we'll be talking about ancient barbarians in the time of Rome and all the different tribes. So, stay tuned. Oh. Nope. Alright, and now it's giveaway time. As you know, I'm Professor Pin, and I love pins. I got me a good collection. And whoever wants a pin, raise their hand. Lots of people want pins. Alright, you in the back. You get a pin. 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 You all the way back there, you get a pin. You get the pen, and you get the pen. Now, moving on to our actual lesson, and I would be super kind to give away one from my neat, super tedious collection. I will miss you, Pinky. Now, go get it! Alright, and now we will be moving on to the lesson. Now, first things first, what is a barbarian? Well, a barbarian. Barbarian literally means uncivilized person. So, So, it literally just means someone who's uncivilized, probably a little cuckoo in the brain, you know what I'm saying? Might not even have a brain, I don't know. For those of you who are wondering, sorry about that, my tongue, cat got my tongue, something like that. The term barbarian is not gender specific, sorry. It is gender neutral. So, if you are a girl with hair.
It looks like dreadlocks.
Maybe this girl has dreadlocks. The old girl. You can be a barbarian. And if you are a dude, then you can also be a barbarian. I don't know what I'm exactly drawing, but if you are a dude, you can also be a barbarian. Doesn't matter which gender you are, you can just be a barbarian whichever way you want to be. Interesting fact, barbarians were mostly German. That's right. I don't know how to draw a German flag, but we're just going to say this is the German flag. Wavy lines, cross, that, and a face with a face, and a face. So most of them were German. Now, there's some of them like the famous Attila the Hun, who were most likely not German, but most of them were German. Also interesting fact, the word barbarian comes from the Greek word bar, which doesn't mean uncivilized person. All it means is someone who doesn't speak Greek, so non-Greek. So if you take my Greek class, you'll know that Greeks don't like other people. So if you are Greek, then Greek plus other kind of person equals no-go. So they didn't like anyone who wasn't Greek. If you weren't Greek, then you were bad. So that is the origin of the word barbarian. Now, Mr. Slick will be joining me soon, and we'll be teaching you about, and we will start teaching you about the different tribes of barbarians.
Also, here's
whoa.
another fun fact about the Great War.
Oh, what are you doing?
Here's a fun fact. The third fun fact.
Hey, that's for the hunt. Go away. Here's another rule. Don't ever. Gonna have to erase these people. Interrupt me. Exclamation point. Upside down exclamation point. Just for those people who speak Spanish. And yeah, so that's all I have for you about what is a barbarian. Drop the mic.
So today we're going to be learning about the Vandals. Now that is the smallest tribe. They were the smallest of all the barbarians. Small. Yes. They were the smallest of all the barbarians, but that does not mean that they're any less fierce. They were being attacked by the Huns, and they were forced out of their lands. Let's say this was just a big area of land, and they were forced out of it by the Huns that were chasing them. And they had to run away. Ah! Alright, you can see they're running. As they're just running away from them. They were forced down into Spain, where they lived peacefully in this little area right here. And then the Romans attacked them and they were forced down here. Now they were staying in Roman territory, the Romans didn't like it, that's why they chased them down here. And at the same time, it was kind of smart because the Romans were fighting the Huns, but because they were fighting the Huns, they didn't want any barbarians in the land, so they were chasing them down, down into Spain, where they later picked up shipbuilding. Soon they had the power of the sea. They soon had the power of the sea, and with boats on their hands, they were really powerful, so they could almost go anywhere on the sea that they liked, which made them very powerful. Corbs? Okay. Anyways, I was saying, sea trade, the power of the sea was in their possession. Now, some interesting things about the Vandals is that they were similar to Vikings. They had the same beliefs as these Vikings did. Just gonna draw a little Viking right here. Of course. They're very bad. Anyways, they had similar beliefs as the Vikings, and they were just as fierce, but they were not skilled in war. They still fought war and failed sometimes, but they were not afraid to go plunder. They were pretty much Vikings, is the easiest way to say it, but they're Vikings that do not come from Greenland or Iceland. Now that is the Vandals.
Cool. Alright, I will be teaching you about the Franks. The stupid thing.
Am I teaching this one?
Franks. Now, like most barbarians, they were a more peaceful tribe. So instead of being all like, sword, this isn't the best sword, they were more like, hugs. So they were more peaceful. Go away. This is my class. Alright. I have a major in the Franks. Now, but until one time, where Rome decided to help them, if they helped them by fighting back other barbarians. So this is Rome, and they say, help us equals help you. It worked out for both of them. So, for a while they helped. They even helped fight back the Huns, which didn't last long. So, and this lasted for a while. Until, sadly, no, they were probably destroyed by the Huns. But we don't know what became of the Franks. But, hold on a second. In case you're wondering about this Franks, no, it was probably not named after these barbarian tribes, but this is my favorite hot sauce. Refreshing. So, Franks equals barbarians and hot sauce.
Hat sauce?
What?
Hat? You spelled it with a name.
I'm not a literature teacher. See, hot sauce. Look, it is actually spelled with an A. You've all been lied to. Okay? Yeah, that's all. Drop the mic.
Today, we're going to be learning about the Visigoths. The Visigoths. Alright, that's their name. The Visigoths weren't always barbarians. Originally, they were farmers. They were actually fairly nice people, you know. They were just farming the land, doing what they gotta do, you know, to survive. Doing hay. As you say, there's a little box here for hay. I like to draw. But I like to do demonstrations. So the Visigoths weren't always barbarians. They were originally farmers. They were actually nice people until, you guessed it, the Huns attacked them. The Huns are just going to have these devil-like horns. They're just going to be like, Mwahaha, as they attack. You know? With their giant blades and swords. They hate, as you can tell, the Huns hated everybody. So that's why they just attacked everybody. Now the Huns attacked them and then they became afraid. Shadow! Well, as you can tell, this guy has really hair. But anyways, these guys get quite a little bit of a sweat. These guys are getting scared, so they force run away and have to pack up everything and go. So they leave their farmlands to the Huns who raided them. They left. Oh wow, it's getting later in the day. Lunch break will be coming soon, students. Alright, as you can tell, where were we? Yep. They left. The Visigoths came to the Romans, and the Romans didn't exactly, they pretty much said, join our army. Join army. In joining that army, there would be supplied with food and land. So they pretended, they wore a mask pretending to be, oh, so friendly. But really, one side, they were actually really cruel masters. They didn't like anybody. They pretended to be friendly, only to get more army to fight the barbarians. The barbarians known as the Huns. Now the Huns were an unbeatable force, so these farmers were turned into soldiers. And they fought against quite a lot of people. They fought against the Vandals, right? They fought against the Vandals, and they killed a lot of them under Roman rule, as they also fought against the Huns. I'm just going to make a weird figure in here. And later, that didn't last long. Because the Romans were so cruel, they were actually very cruel taskmasters, as you can tell. They became their new devil, if you will. So they revolted against the Romans and killed them in mass numbers in an epic raid against them. Now the Visigoths did not like the Roman rules at all, so that's when they later became barbarians, and later continued to fight against Rome until they left Rome in later times.
Alright, so
I like doing the illustration.
alright, for our next lesson, we will be learning about the Saxons. Now, the Saxons were mercenaries and pirates. So, if you needed them to go do something, all you needed was money or land. Or something like supplies. So, like, I don't know, weapons. Or food. We're just going to say that they like chicken. This looks like a club, but it's chicken. Or, I don't know. Just something along these lines. So if you wanted to hire the Saxons, you needed one of these four things. Now, they lived close to the sea, hence how they learned how to be pirates and sail the seas. But it would rain a lot, so the sea would rise up, and as you experienced during, some of you experienced during Hurricane Florence, it would come up like to the top of their houses and cause massive damage. It would also be lightning, looks like lightning, and massive rain, hence the flooding, and a lot of people would die. So they had to move out. So they traveled along for a while, but then the British said that they needed help. They were fighting a tribe of barbarians called the Picts, but I like to call them the Pigs. And they didn't actually look like real life pigs, but I'm just going to draw them as pigs. By the way, if you ever want to learn how to be an artist like me, you can just go to Professor Slick. Tell me everything I know. And they weren't very smart. They just plundered and had no strategy. And so they came to this great continent of Britain and they started to plunder. But then the Saxons stepped in and they brought their entire army to fight these marauding piggies. And when they defeated them, Britain was very thankful. Thumbs up. And they let them stay for a while. But later, the Saxons rebelled, and they fought against Britain. They're like, you suck. And we don't know much about how they exactly perished or what happened to them. But this is the Saxons. Ta-da!
I love your illustrations.
No, thank you, student.
I'm actually Professor Sleepy. Okay. Alright, here's the Huns. The Huns are the most interesting and the most dangerous of all the barbarians. The Huns. Now, I guess you can say that they were hunter-like, and they were ruthless. They were very, very ruthless and unpredictable. For instance, the armies could not predict anything that they planned on doing. But the Romans wouldn't realize that they would jump out of the side. As you can see, they're very mad. And they would hold giant axes. I don't know what weapons they yielded, but it was mostly axes, swords, and maces. And the Roman soldiers would freak out at their surprise. They would not know what to do, and a lot of them would die. Dead body. Anyways, now the Huns were, like I said, unpredictable. And here's a legend. Here's a myth, actually. A fun fact that some scholars believe that the Great Wall, back in China, where I'm just going to put samurai here, I guess. Samurais originally came from Japan, but we all think they came from China, so I'm just going to put samurai right there. Cool. And the barbarian and this myth, or fun fact, is that some people, like I said, believe it was to protect the Chinese from the Huns. And they couldn't get up, but sometimes they would kill them with arrows, but they had to leave and they would follow the Great Wall. And after trying for, I don't know, a couple of years, no one knows for exactly how long they tried, but they later left. The Huns were also very skilled in war. They were very, very skilled in war, which means that warfare was their natural trade. Like the Visigoths were good at farming, and how the Vandals learned how to ship build, and also how the Saxons were great pirates. Vandals were also kind of Viking-ish party, I guess. But what all of them did not have in common is the war strategy that they had. They had weapons like the recurve bow, which would have an effect something like this. They were excellent fighters and warriors, and they're excellent weapon makers. They made all their own weapons. The Huns, no one knows their actual origin point, but believe, if it is true what they say, that they built the Great Wall to protect them from the Huns, then it might be a good idea to generally visualize them as Asian people, maybe from India, who knows. But we don't actually know their origin point. Most people consider the other tribes as Germanic, which means they might have all came from Germany, but no one really knows for sure. Now, they were great horseback riders, which means they were really dangerous to the Romans. The Romans did not have horses. Wait, no, they did. They had chariots.
Yeah, they had lots of horses.
They had lots of horses, but they were not skilled at fighting with horses. So, and myths said, and some of the mythological beliefs is that they lived on their horses. This is just a horse, weird face. The Huns were excellent fighters with the recurve bow, so they would often use recurve bow on a horse to kill their enemies, which made them mighty, mighty fierce. And now, the Huns were very, very dangerous because they could stay on horses, not just because they could fight with the horses really well, but they could stay on for 4 to 5 hours, or even longer, 4 to 5 hours. Going out inking this. And they could stay on long periods of time. Now they had an alliance with Rome. I'm not saying, just like all the other barbarians, they had an alliance with Rome, but of course, as always, it never lasted. So they would always have a war in between each other. Arrows would go flying, arrows everywhere on both sides, Rome and Saxons, which of course I like to give them devil horns because they are.
Well, you forgot to mention why they started the war was Attila the Hun.
Attila the Hun, correct. He wanted to create he liked the idea of power, like a Caesar or an emperor having control in Rome. He wanted to equal that. I'm going to erase some of this so I can explain. He wanted equal power to a throne, like this guy right here who rules, signs paper, there's stuff like that. I'm not saying politics are entirely fun, but he wanted to be equal to the Roman Empire. So Attila the Hun, I'm going to give him horns and a little hat. Right here, it's going to be Asian, I think, but who knows. He's going to be very serious. Attila the Hun wanted to be equal to them for power, so therefore he created his own army. He even ruled a part of Rome's territory for a while and was his own governor. He was his own king, if you will. So he was a leader. His brother, interesting fact is that his brother actually was the king before him, and he saw him unfit. So as of course, but brothers always fight like me and my brother. But he wanted power, and he realized his brother was unworthy, so sadly he killed his brother. And his brother was dead. And he's got one long hair. The Huns were, like I said, the most violent, and they fought a lot of the barbarians, and some of the barbarians didn't even like them, such as the Franks and the Visigoths and the Vandals. All those three, pretty much all the barbarians didn't like the Huns. So, if I'm not forgetting anything, I believe that could be it for the Huns.
Alright. Thank you all for watching. Exclamation point. Exclamation point. Underline. Underline. Squiggly, 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 squiggly. Woohoo. And loopity-doopity-doo. Thank you all for watching. This has been Electro Squale University. Tune in. Actually, don't tune in next time. We'll be continue recording in about a few minutes after this commercial break. If you want to know how to become a great professor, stay tuned and keep watching. Goodbye.
student, this is how you be a professor.
Whoa. What are you doing?
And in the real life, we told our students we would do.
I thought we were doing this like more professionally. But anyhow, you must learn to write like a professor.
When you're a professor, the pros and cons is you get free Coke and free corn nuts. Oh no.
Alright, this is how you don't write like a professor. Book. That's definitely not how you write it. You know that it looks like it's like something. But this is how you do write like a professor. With extra emphasis on these scribbles. No, that's how you write. That's how you write like a pro. And this is how you drink like a professor. Refreshing.
What you're gonna do, right, is just have a lot of corn nuts and some Coke. That's in the teacher's lounge.
Let's show you the tour of the lounge.
This is the tour of the lounge. And there is our very unwise parents who have much to learn.
Yes, indeed.
And this is the teacher's lounge right here. So you can see we got a nice, we got lots of mugs. We got a nice refrigerator.
Look at this.
And
Boom.
lots of cabinets full of.
Boom. Look at it. Look, check it out. Boom.
Yeah. And then we got nothing but pictures and special paintings that our mother has done, who's a professional painter, or you who's an artist and want to learn, I would suggest you go to my mother. Alright.
And my personal favorite.
Professor Pin, you have an addiction to pins.
They're my favorite. Here, I'm gonna grab them.
And now, basically, for the information on what to wear. You wear nice coat.
Even in the summertime.
Even in the summertime. It's hot, it's sweaty, and it's a challenging task, but you can learn how to be a professional just by putting on a coat, talking in a British voice like my sweet British voice. This is not my actual voice. This is a British voice I picked up on Whatnot Jill.
You're not actually British?
No.
Why did you say that?
Yeah.
Well, good on you. But trying hard.
I think I'm succeeding. But you just gotta wear nice clothes. As you can see, wear some nice pants like that, nice shirt. As you can tell,
shoes are not required. Check it out. I don't need shoes.
No shoes are required. Yep. I'll wear socks. Now, there is our teaching place. Now,
Ta-da!
we got lots of food back here. Now, being a professor is very nice, so just give us a call if you want to learn to be a professor or have training in being a professor and want to come join us. Come join us at countryclub.com.
What? We're not a country club.
We do. Meet us at Country Club and we'll talk with you about being a professor.
No, that's right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And this is a personal video.
This part will just be for Mr. Slick. You spell it like a true professor. Mr. Slick. Slick. 190 thingy. And
Wiggly wiggly boo.
do da do. Squiggly.
Alright, brother, I'm gonna hand you the camera.
I'm not your brother.
It's a 10, Professor.
Boom.
Alright. So today, if you're going to... Oh, crap. We'll be teaching you on the skills of drawing. Alright.
This is smoke. Nope, this is the smoke. Okay. Wait.
Now, if you want to be a great drawing professor like me,
Okay.
I also teach drawing. Please come to my class and sign up. I'll teach you how to draw. When you want to draw historical characters, like how I did Color the Hun, just gave them big horns. Basically, it's basic shapes like triangles, circles, and lines. That's all you basically need for your illusion that you can draw to the Hun, who was very massacred. So the Hun, you basically just scribble around and draw like this, and if you want to write something like a ship, just do basic lines. Basically, you don't want to make your illusion. You want to show your illustrations off to all your students. Basically, drawing basic lines like this, and it's really easy to draw. If you just make basic shapes, you just gotta think of it as a cartoon, like you're drawing a cartoon. You're not doing anything professional. So, with that in mind, you can create anything. Now that's how to draw like a professor.
This is really interesting, guys. Okay, archaeological, we'll just call them the fossilators. They found this. This is probably the most ancient duck in the world.
It probably came from one of the Hun's kills in their hunts.
That's right. And they probably decided not to chew on it. They decided to throw it. And it was probably like a ball to them. We have decided to name this George Duckington. George Duckington. Even though we're British, we still respect the Americans. Even though they used to be like our slaves. But, okay. Yeah. Also, corn nuts. They're really delicious. Yes. So yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Goodbye! How do you turn this thing off? Turn it off!
Shut up. Here's my Professor Dog.
Professor Puppy.